Welcome everyone to episode 184 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. I'm proud to announce that the second episode of Vintage Vigilance, our series about the oldest cards and the craziest decks in MTG, will be releasing on Sunday, October 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So don't miss it. That episode, like this one, is brought to you by our EDHCC club, aka the Patrons. Thank you guys for all your support. Our content wouldn't be possible without you and your absolute generosity. Oh, one last thing. Spoiler alert. Well, more like a tease. A new tournament may be coming real soon. Also, it's getting close to the holiday season, so a big giveaway is also coming. But now then, let's get into today's opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of a Plains, Mountain, Spectator's Seating, Steel Shaper's Gift, Knight of the White Orchid, Sword of Fire and Ice, Volshock Battlemaster, and his Boros-style general Bruenor Battlehammer. He is yours truly, the host, BT. Next, in this corner, with an opening hand of a Forest, Emergence Zone, Lumbering Falls, Brainstorm, Serum Visions, Eternal Witness, Kadama's Reach, and his Simic-style general Arixmethes Slumbering Isle. He is the unpredictable Gemi. Gemi won the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin this Boros Vs Simic card fight. For our first turns, Gemi plays a tapped Lumbering Falls, while I play a tapped Spectator's Seating. Gemi plays a Forest and casts Lightning Greaves, while I played Etchy Plains and cast SRAM Senior Edificer. Gemi plays Gargoyle Castle and casts Kadama's Reach, which nets him an island from his deck into play tapped and a forest to his hand. Then he passes. For my turn, I start by casting Knight of the White Orchid. And as Gemi controls more lands than me, I net a Plains from my deck into play. Then I play a Mountain and cast Steel Shaper's Gift, which nets me Sword of Feast and Famine from my deck to my hand. Then I move into combat and attack Gemi with SRAM for 2 damage before passing. Gemi plays a Forest and casts his general Arixmethes and passes. I play a Mountain and cast the Sword of Feast and Famine I got last turn, which in turn triggers SRAM, allowing me to draw a card. I then equip the sword to my Knight. Then I move into combat and attack with both my creatures. This deals Gemi 6 damage in total. With my sword's trigger, I get to untap my lands, and Gemi discards a card from his hand. In response, however, Gemi casts Brainstorm to draw 3 cards and send 2 cards from his hand to the top of his deck. This also removes a slumber counter from his general. Then my effect resolves. In my second main phase, I cast my general, Bruenor, and pass. Gemi plays an island and casts Trinket Mage. With its ETB, he nets the OP Mana Crypt from his deck to his hand, which he then casts. This in turn removes 2 more slumber counters from his general. Next he casts Serum Visions, drawing a card, and scrying 2, keeping both cards on top of his deck, and removing yet another slumber counter. Next he casts Kamal, Fist of Krosa, which removes the last slumber counter, which turns his general into a creature. He then equips it with his greaves and passes. For my turn, I cast Sword of Fire and Ice. This triggers Shram, and I get to draw a card. Next, I use Bruenor's effect and equip the sword for free to my knight, who, thanks to my general, is now a 10/8. Next, I cast Tormenting Voice. I discard a card and draw 2 new cards. Then I move into combat and attack with said knight, who has protection from both of Jimmy's colors, dealing him a total of 10 damage. Next, my swords trigger, which in total has Jimmy discard a card, I get to untap my lands, I deal 2 damage to his trinket mage, killing it, and I get to draw a card. In my second main phase, I play a mountain and cast Skull Clamp, which lets me draw again with Sram's trigger. Then I cast Akiri, Fearless Voyager, and move my Sword of Feast and Famine onto Bruenor before finally passing the turn. During Jimmy's upkeep, we roll for his Mana Crypt trigger, and he ends up taking 3 damage. Then he casts Reclamation Sage, and with its ETB, he destroys the Sword of Feast and Famine. Next, he casts Eternal Witness, and with its ETB, he adds Brainstorm from his graveyard back to his hand, which he then casts immediately, drawing 3 cards and putting 2 cards on the top of his deck. Then he casts the card he just got, which is Frozen Grip, which he uses to destroy my Sword of Fire and Ice, and passes. For my turn, I cast Nahiri the Lithomancer. I use her -2 effect to get back my Sword of Feast and Famine from my graveyard to play. Next, I use Bruenor's effect to equip the sword to Bruenor for free. Then I equip my clamp to him as well. Then I move into combat, and as Jimmy can't block it, I attack him with Bruenor for 12 damage. All together now. #ouch. Then my sword triggers, allowing me to untap my lands, and having Jimmy discard an invisible card because he has no hand, but rules are rules. In my second main phase, I play a Plains and cast Black Blade Reforged. This triggers Shram, letting me draw a card. Next, I move my sword onto Akiri, and my clamp onto my knight, and pass. During Jimmy's upkeep, we roll for the Mana Crypt trigger, but this time, Jimmy takes no damage. Next, he casts Nyxbloom Ancient, and passes, stating that combined with Kamal, he'll be able to deal me lethal damage in his next turn. For my turn, looking to stop him, I play Field of Ruin, and cast Banishing Light to exile the Ancient. In response, Jimmy taps his general for 6 mana and sacks his Gargoyle Castle to make a 3/4 colorless Gargoyle artifact creature token with flying. Next, I use Bruenor's effect to equip my Black Blade Reforged to him for free, making him into a 15/11. Next, I move into combat and wave Jimmy with all my creatures. Gemi blocks SRAM with his Witness, the Knight with his Sage, and Bruenor with the Gargoyle, looking to survive at 1 life. But I still have 1 card left to play, and during blockers, I flash in Embercleave, which I equip to Bruenor. This basically gives him +3/+1, trample, and double strike, allowing me to deal lethal damage to Gemi and take a win. Outside of maybe Nahiri the Lithomancer, I don't think I've ever had as much fun making an equipment deck than I have with Bruenor. The attack boost is nice, but 1 free equip every turn puts it over the top. I highly recommend this guy to anyone making an equip deck, whether it be an expensive or budget build. You will have just as much fun. Gemi was super close here to a lethal OTK. Kamal was tough to deal with as it prevented me from board wiping without potentially losing all my lands. And if Gemi had got to untap with that triple mana, he would have had access to Kamal's overrun effect at least 4 times over. Wow. If you agree with our picks, let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. We give you access to such sweet things as entries into our epic prize tournaments, bonus entries into giveaways, your nickname in our EDHCC club, and so much more. Also, if you plan on picking up some custom playmats or sleeves, please check out yourplaymat.com and use our promo code BT10YP at checkout, or click the affiliate link in the description below to receive 10% off your order. It not only gives you access to sweet swag at a cheaper price, but also helps out the channel at the same time. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you all for watching. As always, it means a lot to me. Until next time, stay warm, stay safe, and keep on card gaming. Love you all, and cheers.